Welcome to the Banríon Show. Today we've been talking about the EU. So I've been going through different things and the freedom of Ireland and what is necessary. Another thing that I'm going to be talking about now, which is to do with the EU and the Irish government. We, the people, have had, and I was talking about it before, have had to start getting used to using cash, paying for things in cash. So there's no trace, because the banks and everything will eventually be able to go in and take your tax out. And the tax is the next thing I want to talk about today. Big step, we need to stop paying it. We, the people, don't have to pay tax. Now, if you work for someone, you've got to go to your employer and ask them, insist that they take away your tax. They stop taking your tax and giving it to the revenue, and that you tell them that you're going to sort it out yourself. So you go and you tell them the taxes, the revenue will contact you, but there's no actual law that you have to pay tax. There's only Statutes and Acts, which is only given the power of law by your voluntary complaisance. So there's no actual law. So we all have to get into our heads, no more tax. Stop giving the government money. We're going to take down this government, and by doing that, you first have to start using cash, there's no trace, and stop paying your taxes. You go into your bosses and you say, no, you're not paying your taxes. You don't want to pay your taxes, you're going to organise it yourself. It's nothing to do with your boss. The second thing is property tax. Don't pay property tax. They send you out property tax, fill it in and say no contract, or send it back, or just ignore it. The only tax on demand is on profits and earnings. So the only times the revenue can say is if they prove that you've profits, right? Which is obviously, you get paid for your labour, but your labour is actually priceless. There is no actual charge. They can't come after you for that, because they can't demand on, say, because what they're actually doing is your boss is paying you for whatever labour you do. That is actually an exchange. So any more that they could come after you for if you went and you exchanged a cow for a car, there's no profit. It's a direct exchange. There's no profit. The revenue can't come after you. This is another thing we need to be looking at. Bartering. Stop using where they can get at you. So don't use your card. So as if everything is bartering. So think about your labour as in bartering, that you work for cash and you start asking your boss that you want to be paid in cash. Stop using the banks and stop paying your taxes. You have got to get into it. We pay enough taxes anyway. Pay taxes in everything we do. We need to take down this government, and by doing that, we need to take the power away from them. The only way you can take the power away from the government is to take their money away. You want them to do something, we want them to stop everything that they're doing, the open borders, the Muslims refugees in, the murder of the innocent babies. We want all of it stopped. We want Ireland for the Irish. We want to protect Ireland. Well, then you've got to stop paying your taxes. You, the people, have to wake up that it's us who are in power, not the government. It is us who they work for us, and if they're not working for us, why should we pay them? Stop paying them. So it's a big step, and it is scary, but just go to your employers and saying you want them to take out their taxes back from the income taxes and the revenue, and you will look after it. But there's no law, and as I said, it's only by statutes and acts. But we're going to have to stand up. No property taxes. Just stop. And this is the way that we have to fight. It's a step, but we the people have the power, and unless we start taking back the power, then we will always be a slave of the state. So that's our first thing, is to stop paying your taxes. Go to your employers and say you want to look after your taxes yourself. This is Irish News Radio, itv.ie. So any questions or anything you want to ask me about, it's news@irishnews.net. And this is the Banríon Show. Thank you very much for listening. Hello, this is the Banrion Show. Thank you for listening. Today, on Thursday, wet day, we are talking about the EU and the mess of the EU. So it's Irish News Radio, or itv.ie. So if you have any questions or you want to bring up any topics, it's news@irishnews.net. Thank you so much for listening, and keep tuning in. There will be more discussions and more interviews with controversial figures and conversations that we all should be having that we're not having. Why is there 10,000 homeless on Ireland? Why are the Irish dying on the streets? Why is all this being ignored? Why are our fishing seas being taken over? Why is our oil gone? Why is our gas, oil? Why is our turf, our water? Why are they imposing crazy debt on us? 43% debt. And why did they lie and lie and lie? They say that we need to pay water when we paid in 1997. Everybody have a look at that. You can find that out by Googling it. 2% on VAT was put on everything, 5% on road tax, so we'd never have to pay domestic water. And they will bring in any excuse, and it'll be again and again, and they will keep coming after us. The only thing is to break down this government and to get out of the EU, because this government is completely corrupt. All of them. We can't even have Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin are far, far, far from what they set up to be. They are corrupt. They are unionist. They are the EU unionists, and they are creating genocide for the Irish. See, this poor man attacked. He was standing up for a property from being taken from Nama. This is like a land leak. Very, very sad times. He was beaten. First of all, they whacked him. The guard whacked him on the knee, so he fell to his knees. And he picks his baton up and with a mighty force whacks him on the head for standing up for someone else, because so-called Nama are coming to take properties. This is disgusting. And who brought in this eviction bill? No other than that absolutely disgusting Michael D. Higgins, also known as a pervert and a paedophile. Horrible, horrible man. Well, it's not paedophile, he was with teen boys, but I think there's another word for that, but it's disgusting. Disgusting man who had a lover, a male lover. Was called Liam, I think it was. His name, I will give you now, the lover of Michael D. Higgins for 20 years, and we can all... Noel Lenihan. Lots more to come from that evil man. Need him out as well. He doesn't even want to stay. He's been corrupt because they have a video of him having sex with a boy. Hello, it's the Banríon Show, and today it's the Thursday. We will be talking about the EU, Irish independence and sovereignty, and why we absolutely need to get out of the EU for our future generation, for the Irish Indigenous people's future generation. Why people are dying on the Irish streets and people aren't talking about it. They're talking about, you listening to the radio stations, how wonderful. 10 people died in between September and November last year. Nothing done. It's bringing in more people. Nothing has been talked about the open borders. Nothing is talked about Islam, and most people are unaware of what it is. They think it's something to do with being brown. And this is the EU, and they're bringing in bullshit words to silence you. And I don't know, if you listened to the show yesterday, you'll hear the word called Takia and Kitman. Kitman is to disguise. So this is a way of silencing. Kitman is silence people. So you bring in words like stupid that don't mean anything, like having an irrational fear to Islam. It's any more than the real fear is Christophobia. That's what people have a fear of. But an irrational fear of Islam is, if you understood Islam, of course you'd have it, a fear. But people are having Christophobia because when you are a Christian, and then they know and they can say that it is. Christianity is the real truth and the real way to peace in this land, and peace to any land.
You are listening to Irish News Radio at irishnews.net. Email news@irishnews.net.